That's rule number 5. We will now call the April 25th council meeting to order.
Martin Howe, Will Hyman.
Present.
Mark Jackson.
Here.
Wayne Worth.
Here.
Hattie Wright.
Here.
Vice Mayor Riffle.
Here.
Mayor Malpacho.
He's here.
He's here.
Okay, Harrison County candidates, meet and greet. How are we starting with? We're starting with the sheriff's rates. Dixon Pruitt, please. How's that? You get 5 minutes, and then council can ask questions.
Oh,
We can't ask.
I didn't realize we were doing this.
She just said we could.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys can ask questions because nobody running for council is in this forum. So it's allowed.
Would you
if
rather
coun-
it not be answered?
You don't
Asked?
want council be able to ask questions for the
Oh,
public?
yeah.
This is your baby,
Well, I
so
mean, I don't.
you call it.
I don't think we were planning on that.
Okay, so no questions then.
Yeah.
How's
All right.
that?
Good.
Dixon, you got 5 minutes and nobody's going to torture you.
The podium, please. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Dixon Pruitt. I'm 57 years old. I currently live in Quietdale with my beautiful wife Leslie. I'm a retired U.S. Army combat veteran. I served 12 years with the Clarksburg Fire Department as a professional firefighter EMT. I just recently retired a year ago with the Harrison County Sheriff's Department to run for sheriff. I've spent over a year now traveling around our county, networking, making friends, and if elected as sheriff, I'm going to continue on with my community policing. I already have a great relationship with the city of Clarksburg. All resources that I would have available is a phone call away. We have a great police chief right now. There's no issues there. I grew up in the state end of Clarksburg. I moved here when I was 2 years old. So I know what Clarksburg was. I know what it is now, and I know what it can be again. I want to continue on with Sheriff Matheny's hard work, but I am going to create a drug enforcement unit within the Harrison County Sheriff's Department, and I'm going to start attacking the drug problem on the street level on a daily basis. I appreciate your support on May 14th. Thank you.
Mr. Matheny?
Do you guys need this for like the live or whatever?
Yeah, I think you might be able to hear it better.
Okay, yeah. So those of you who don't know me, I'm Robert Matheny. I'm Chief of Police over in Stonewood. A little bit about me. I'm the immediate past president of the Fraternal Order of Police, local lodge number 78. I'm a member of the West Virginia Chiefs of Police Association. I'm a member of the North Central West Virginia Law Enforcement Council, who has nominated me to be their appointment to the 911 Advisory Board for the 911 Center here in Harrison County. My goals and objectives, if I get elected, are to maintain the Harrison County Drug Task Force. I look to continue the policies and the programs that are in place currently. I plan to continue and add to the PRO program. My goal is to add 2 additional deputies to rove the elementary schools. I think that's where the biggest threat is, and I think it's very important to get them in the elementary school level as well as your middle school and high school. I've got a special place in my heart for Clarksburg. My dad is a retiree from the police department here, and they always put shoes on my feet and braces on my teeth. So, it holds a special place in my heart. So I just want to thanks everybody for this opportunity and to allow me to speak. You guys have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Steve Johnson.
Hello, for those of you that don't know me, I am Steve Johnson. I live out on the west side of the county. I've been raised in Harrison County. I went to schools in Harrison County. I went to South Harrison High School. I have 3 children that all graduated from South Harrison High School. One of my children is a deputy sheriff in Harrison County currently. I worked for 31 years for the Harrison County Sheriff's Office. I held every position, every rank in the Sheriff's Office, everything from a patrol deputy to chief deputy. I was chief deputy for 8 years under Albert Morano. I can tell you right now, I'm not gonna start my own drug unit. That doesn't work. I can tell you now who my chief deputies are going to be. If you want to know, if you want to ask me, I'll gladly tell you. I've already talked to my people I'm going to have in charge when I'm elected. We have the same problems in Clarksburg we have throughout the county. I was in Salem last night. They have the same problems Clarksburg does, but it's on a smaller scale. Drugs is the problem. If we don't start taking care of the drugs on the street level, we're going to have problems. And like Robert Matheny, little Robert, where'd he go to? Where'd he go to? You back there, okay. I also believe in getting a officer back in schools. I believe getting them back in schools as a DARE officer. I was a DARE officer for 6 years. Four of those years were full-time. And when I talk to the kids, and people, I call them kids, but it's been 30 years ago. They're not kids. They still come up to me and say, oh, I remember you. You know, you taught me about drugs and how bad they were. So that's my thing is we have to start now with our kids. If we can't start with our kids coming up through and break the chain, the cycle that we're in right now, where we're arresting the grandfather, the son, the grandson, all in the same month. We need to break that cycle. And if we can't start doing that with the children coming up through, we're all going to be in bad shape. I believe in the tax office takes in $80 million a year. You have to have dedicated people in the tax office that you can trust and make sure they're going to take care of the money properly. I was up here today, I was in the tax office. There had to be 200 people coming through the tax office today paying money. A lot of it was cash. I can tell you, when every one of them girls up here, I would trust 100%. I believe in I want to add more officers into the schools. I want to add more dogs. City of Clarksburg's found out that the dog program, I think, works quite well. I was a dog handler for the sheriff's office my last 3 years. Now, my dog was not a drug dog, it was a bomb dog. These guys with the drug dogs find drugs with it, oh, they're all excited. When I found a pipe bomb in the vehicle the first time, I was like, oh crap. Yeah, okay, this isn't good. You know, I got a bomb. So, but I did that for 3 years. We still have a bomb dog in Harrison County, it's a good thing. So, I'm trying to watch the clock also, man, I'm sorry. I got 1 minute left, but we need to work together. That's what I said last night. It's all communications. You have to work completely together. It's not just Clarksburg, Bridgeport, another Fort Stone. It's everybody together. And if we can't do that, we're going to fail. It's my job, my ability to work with people to bring that together and make it work. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. Quinn?
Very humbled to be here. This beautiful auditorium we have for a courtroom. My name is Don Quinn. I've been a Republican since 1978. Okay, I didn't just jump on this bandwagon, and I'm running for sheriff as a Republican. I'm currently the chief of police at Anmore. I've got a total of about 13 years over there. This includes 2 years back from 94, 93 to 95, actually. I was born here in Harrison County, West Virginia. Born in Loganport, matter of fact. And my family moved up here to Gwinnett number 2 when I was a kid, about 1958, 57 maybe. And as I drove up here today, I looked around and I thought, you know, I would like to see it like it was then, when I seen Woolworths downtown, when I seen a place to live, was quiet, it was nice. Now, just a little side note to all this. We didn't have backpackers at that time. We didn't have people running the streets and doing crazy stuff, except some of my relatives might have been under the 4th Street Bridge drunk. And that's just what happened at that time. So this isn't a brand new thing that we have. What we have is generations of people now, as it goes along, that are the grandchildren, great-grandchildren of the people then, okay? I deal with these people in Andover, okay? I deal with the ones who are the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren of the people that were here then, and I can see that those problems are continuing. The problems are, and I've heard people talk about the drug problem, and I understand that, we have to address that issue. But from what I understand, over half of the children that are in our county school system are living with other than their biological parents. I have a real problem with that. When I was a kid, go back to what I just said here, up in Glen number 2, that didn't happen. It didn't happen. Now, did we live in a very, very, very poor lifestyle? Oh, yeah, real poor. My mom looked at me and said, go down there, that building where the mission is now, and get some commodities. I thought that word was commodes. I didn't know what's a commodity. It was cheese, it was beans, it was what we could get to eat. And it was very, very humbling. So as a child, I got a job right away when I was 10 years old. I shined shoes over here on the 4th Street Bridge, right there by where foliage used to be, across the street from the Greyhound Station. Grew up a rough life. Did I ever think I was going to be a cop? I hate cops. I hate them. Why they threw our relatives in jail? So, as time went on, my family decided to leave this region, moved up to Cleveland, and I subsequently moved to Florida, where I still didn't think about being a police officer, but then about 1983, somebody said, well, you try to be a police officer. So then in Florida, I went to the police academy, subsequently ended up working, oh God, probably 130 hours, in a 7-day week. It was just remarkable, because I did a lot of undercover work. I did a lot of court work, going to court. It was a very daunting task, and I looked at my children, which, by the way, this is kind of a bittersweet situation. My son, Donnie, did work for Clarksburg as a police officer, a canine officer, and a great person he still is. And he is an FBI special agent now, so God bless him for that. Being back here has, it's given me a great deal of insight, bringing the kids back here, I should say. I brought them back here from Florida because of the crime down there. So being back here has really given me a chance to look at my 5 children total, my 8 grandchildren, my great-grandchild, and say, it's time that I really start to help them. And it doesn't have to be just attacking the drugs in the street, because I can see that it's starting to plateau now. Okay, I can see it in Animal. I've cleaned up 12 drug houses. Got rid of the people there through the Landlord Abatement Act, which our council passed. I think it's even based on some of the stuff you guys have. What I worry about is what we're going to do with our schools. I've heard a couple people say we're going to put more people in the schools. Folks, the most intensely strong infrastructure that all of you have is our children. I don't care whether you're related to them by blood, by marriage, or they're your grandchildren. If we don't pay attention now and get into the schools as intensely as we possibly can, we're going to have to hire more officers who are out in the streets to deal with drugs on a daily basis. It's coming, it's going to be here. And you know and I know that social media is one of the worst things that these children have encountered. I can't kick that to the curb, however, we can certainly help children make better decisions when they're in the schools. Personally, I would feel that my children, I would like if they never would smoke a cigarette, never drink a drop of alcohol. That's the gateway drug.
Mr. Quinn, I need you to wrap it up, sir. You're 5 minutes.
So, bottom line is, we're going to need that help, and I think with the citizens of Harrison County, with the rest of the people that we know here, I think you can help us quite a bit. Think about me on May 14th. God bless you.
Thank you. Did we skip any sheriff candidates?
Oh, Chief Kitty was running, he was walking up, I said, oh, man.
Okay, so now we'll go to Judge Division 2 race. Ryan Kennedy.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ryan Kennedy. I'm running for Circuit Judge in Division 2, which is Judge Bedell's seat. He is retiring. I'm the only military veteran running for circuit judge this year. I'm also the only one that has spent the majority of my career, which, geez, about 20 years now almost, representing abused and neglected children in court, helping them find safe, permanent homes. I have literally helped hundreds of children get from bad situations into better situations. Unfortunately, that's about 80% of what the circuit judges are doing these days because as you've heard from other speakers, the drugs are just out of control. I've also volunteered many years with the Harrison County Juvenile Drug Court, helping to take kids that have drug problems and get them off of drugs so that they can have better lives. And if you vote for me on May 14th, I am the candidate that will be able to hit the ground running on day one to help all of these kids across Harrison County. And as far as what I can do for the city of Clarksburg, I can think of nothing better that we could do for the city of Clarksburg than to improve the lives of our children so that 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, we have a much better city. Thank you very much. Vote Kennedy for Kids.
Zach Dyer.
Thank you all very much. I'm Zach Dyer. Not great about talking about myself, so I'll just give you a quick rundown of my experience. I think most of you know I grew up with Jerry here in Clarksburg. We graduated from Byrd in 2005 together. Once I got out of law school in 2012, I've been working with my dad up here, up the street on Washington for the past 12 years. And I've handled just about everything except grand jury that a circuit judge does. So I believe with nearly 12 years of experience being a litigator, practicing about 30 counties in both the northern and southern districts of West Virginia federal courts, I believe I have the experience necessary to get started day one if I'm elected for Division II. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Dyer. Mr. Schaefer?
My name's Joe Schaefer. I'm from Clarksburg, West Virginia. I was Police Civil Service Commissioner here some time ago, and now I'm a Fire Civil Service Commissioner. Grew up in Clarksburg primarily in the Northview section, and then in the Golf Plaza area of Clarksburg. I've got two wonderful children, Emily and Hannah. Emily is in the acting profession in New York City. Hannah works for Urban, a clothing outfit from Philadelphia. That's where she is. She's in Philadelphia. I wish my kids could be here, but their careers have taken them elsewhere. They love Clarksburg. They love Harrison County. My wife, Suzanne, is a retired school teacher. She spent about 32 years teaching elementary school. I was in business initially right out of college. I started my first business when I was 22 years old. That was a convenience store business. I opened one store and ended up with three, sold my interest in those to go to law school. Before law school, I went to undergrad at Fairmont State University, where I got a degree in business and economics and psychology. And then I got my law degree and started practicing law with Scott Derringer up on Lee Avenue. Spent a couple of years with Scott, and then hung my shingle out at the old Kaplan's Jewelry Store over here on Main Street. So I think it's important to tell you why I want to be a circuit court judge first. I happen to be one of those people that believe in justice for all, and that when you go to court, when you're in the court system, when you have a controversy, be it civil or criminal, that justice should always prevail. I believe in that. I've lived that. I've held the quasi-judicial position of prosecuting attorney from 2003 to 2015. Why is it quasi-judicial? Because a prosecutor has to make many decisions about cases that affect people's lives before it ever sees a judge. If a prosecutor decides not to bring a case on, then a judge never sees it. If a prosecutor decides to bring a case on and you charge them in a certain way, a judge really can't do anything to undo that. So it's a very, very powerful position, prosecuting attorney. It's one that, if in the wrong hands, could be abused. We didn't do that. We took a prosecutor's office in 2003 that was in It was in a little bit of trouble, and we made it the best prosecutor's office in the state over the course of 12 years. And I credit the people that I worked with and the people that I hired more than me for that. Some of the people I hired went on to become other things. 2 went on to become assistant U.S. attorneys. 1 went on to become a judge, and 2 went on to become elected prosecutors. So I always said my greatest talent was hiring good people. I want to be a judge because we've always had good judges in this circuit. For as long as I can remember, Judge Marks, Judge McCarthy the first, Judge McCarthy the second, Judge Matish, Judge Bedell, we've always had good judges. And we're being called upon to replace Judge Bedell, a person with 32 years experience. I have 29 years experience practicing law, and I truly have done every type of case that will come before a circuit court judge, including mass action torts, class action torts, the opioid case as a plaintiff's attorney, and the DuPont water case in Wood County as defense attorney. I've tried murder cases. I've tried everything from traffic tickets to homicide. Had a lot better luck in homicide cases than traffic tickets. But when the job of a circuit court judge it's wide and varied. You have to have a wide array of experiences. I've conducted 36 grand juries. I've tried cases in 10 counties around the state, jury trials. I believe you need that experience before you can become a circuit court judge. I'm not allowed to stand here as a judicial candidate and tell you how I may decide something in the future. However, I am allowed to tell you what my record is, and I do have a record. As prosecutor, I upheld the Second Amendment, the Castle Doctrine in numerous times. I fought for stronger penalties against the elderly and against children many times. I even helped draft the legislation that gave rise to harsher penalties for crimes against senior citizens. So I do have a record, a real record. I've handled every type of case imaginable, and I truly would be able to hit the ground running on day one. Now, judicial temperament. I had 2 teenage daughters in high school at the same time. I developed very good temperament. Nobody got hurt. I appreciate your time and attention, and I appreciate you having everybody here. And if anybody has any questions, I'll be here afterwards, be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tracy. Are there any other candidates in the Division II race? Okay, so we'll go to Judge Division III race. Ms. Roby?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Jenna Roby, and I'm running for Harrison County Circuit Judge Division III. I'm a resident of Harrison County, and I was raised in Eastview by my parents, Ron and Vanessa Haymond. I graduated from Bridgeport High School. I graduated from Marshall University, and I got my law degree from WVU College of Law. My husband Matt and I were married in December of 2011. Our daughter McKenna was born in December of 2012, and our son Dominic was born in December of 2017. Also in December of 2017, I opened my own law practice. Since 2019, I have been consistently named as a Rising Star by Thomson Reuters, which is a peer-reviewed award. I am the moderator for the Harrison County Court Improvement Program. And throughout my time in the profession, I've been practicing in numerous areas that would help as a judicial candidate. However, I believe the most important of those areas of practice is my work with the abuse and neglect bar. When I first put my name on the appointment list, I had about 15 abuse and neglect cases. As the years have continued on, the numbers have risen dramatically, and in 2022, almost 300 cases were filed just in abuse and neglect cases. In 2023, over 400 juvenile cases were filed. Those take up about 80% of the court's docket time. Although that number does seem to be slowing recently, those cases are not ones that are just over in a short period of time. They can linger well over a year while parents have improvement periods and permanency is achieved for minor children. I'm running for judge because I believe that it's important to serve our community. I've been a lifelong resident of Harrison County, as has my husband. We've chosen to raise our children here, and we want to raise them where family and community are an important place. I've been honored to serve on the West Virginia Italian Heritage Festival Board of Directors, as well as fulfill the role of secretary for the BHS Alumni and Friends Foundation. I was previously honored as a Progressive Women's Association's Italian Woman of Distinction, and I'm currently serving my second term on the Bridgeport Building Commission. I'm a proud member of the Associated Businesses of Bridgeport, and I'm blessed to be able to volunteer and be a member of the PTA in my kids' school. I work hard to be a good corporate citizen with my business. I work hard in my community to be involved with people and events that show off the positive aspects of our community. And I work hard for my family to instill positive values and in the importance of service to others. I hope to help our community in the role of circuit judge to ensure that we continue to grow and offer opportunities to young people to live and raise their families here. The role of a judicial officer is to interpret our laws, provide for the orderly settlement of disputes, ensure that anyone accused of a crime is given due process of law, and to protect the rights of the individual citizens. I take this call very seriously. Any individual appearing before me can be guaranteed that I will apply the law fairly to come to a just result. As a young attorney, I'm open to change. I do not believe that just because something has always been done one way, that it should continue to be done that way. I think that the law is a fluid entity, and anyone that's given the task of meting out justice must be open to those changes and willing to continue to learn and grow. Thank you to everyone for coming out tonight and to council for having us. Thank you.
Mr. McMahon?
Hi, everyone. Andy McMunn. I feel like I've known most of you most of my life. As I came in the door, I said to Dorian, I was doing a little thinking about this evening and the fact that we're coming here to talk before the city, and I feel like I have spent a lot of my personal and professional life running around this block, and of course in my personal life, literally running around this block. As many of you know, I was a runner for a long time, so I did a lot of that. But professionally, at least school-wise, graduated from WI High School right up here, and got my first job in the golf building as a public defender doing criminal work. I took a second job just down the street at the Empire Bank building, and I was a trust officer there for One Valley Bank, running both the Clarksburg and Fairmont offices. Did that for a little while until I went into practice back at the golf building with Waters, Warner, and Harris, doing a lot of legal work, of course, and then split back off from there, go down towards the Senior Citizens Center, and for 15 years I practiced law down there in my own firm, and for the last 5 I've been up on the hill there where Dyer Insurance used to be, continuing to practice law. So a little bit about my education. I have an undergrad degree from WVU, and I have 2 law degrees. I have been practicing now for 32 years here. It's hard for me to believe that every time I say it, but when I look in the mirror, I see it's true. It's been 32 years. So in that 32 years, I've really done everything that you can do before a circuit court judge or in the circuit court system. I've tried both civil and criminal cases to jury verdict, which is important. If you're going to be asked to preside over those cases, you need to have that experience. And for 20 years, I was, many of you know, the mental hygiene commissioner here in the county, and presided over many of those cases, thousands of them actually. Addiction, mental illness, aging issues. And so that's important because you're doing the same thing in that job, applying the rules of procedure and rules of evidence that you would as a circuit court judge. I'm hardworking, fair, honest, considerate. Those are the attributes that I bring to the job, and I'd like to have your support. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mr. McMahon. Is there any other candidates for the Division III judges race? Moving along, magistrate race. Mr. Weiss.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Weiss. I am your Division II current magistrate up here in Harrison County. I've been there for the last 4 years. I'll give you a little rundown on my bona fides since everybody's talking about them. That's how our grandparents used to call them. I've been a public servant my entire adult life. I started out in the military. I started out with the West Virginia National Guard. As a member of Charlie Company, 2nd 19th Special Forces Unit up in Kingwood. Major Danny Boroff was my first commanding officer then. And at that time, he had just taken over as city manager here in Harrison County, or in Clarksburg. He asked me why I wanted to join. I said I wanted to get paid for jumping out of an airplane. He said, well, that's crazy enough for me, and he let me get in there. After my military time, I became a correctional officer here in Harrison County back when we still had county jails. It wasn't the job I wanted, but it was a start to get me into where I wanted. I wanted to get into law enforcement. I left the jail and became a police officer with the town of Nutter Fort, and I stayed there for a while until I got hired back with the Sheriff's Department as a deputy. On the Sheriff's Department, I was one of the founding members of the SWAT team. I ended up becoming commander of that SWAT team. I also became the sergeant in charge of investigations, and I became an agent on the drug task force doing the undercover work. It's also part of the fugitive task force for the Northern District of West Virginia with the U.S. Marshals. When I left law enforcement, I still hadn't had enough, so I was one of 50 people who was chosen to go to Afghanistan with our Marine Corps and teach them and go out and patrol with them through the bazaars and village and teach them how police officers pick the bad guys out of the group. Our Marines and our Army, they're taught, look for the group that's in trouble or that's a troublemaker. We taught them to pick the guy out there who's sitting there with the button waiting to blow him up. I did that 2 tours to Afghanistan. I came back here and I worked at the federal courthouse as a court security officer. I got to sit in and see a lot of interesting cases on the federal side. So I've gone from being the one to bring the cases to the court to sitting there watching the cases in court, and now I'm actually being the one hearing the cases in court. I've heard all the judicial candidates say if they're elected, they'll be able to hit the ground running. I'm not going to be hitting the ground running. I'm already there. I'm already running. I'm already doing this job. You put me back, or you put me in there in 2020, and I'm asking you to put me back there. Keep me in there. I've taken all those jobs that I've just described. The one thing they taught you, or taught me, was you have to be fair, but you have to be tough. And that's the approach I take. And Mr. Worth can tell you that. That's when he comes in, he also works with the community corrections. What I tell the people come in before me who get sentenced on to probation or they get into a deferred program, I believe in a second chance. Third, fifth, not so much. You know, I'll give them every chance they can, or that we can, but if they don't avail themselves, I put it back on them. It's not the public that's causing the problem, it's those people that's causing the problem, and I put it squarely on their shoulder that they're the ones that have to fix it, and I hold their feet to the fire on it. So I'm asking you, come May 14th, vote for me. I'm number 1 on the candidate, Mike White, or number 1 on the ballot, Mike Weiss.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss. Mr. Walker?
Good evening, everyone. I just have to tell you, it's really an honor to be here. Those of you who know me know that I've been here many times over my 30 years of service to the city of Clarksburg as a police officer. I started out as a patrol officer and finished my career as the chief of police. Most of my education and training I can attribute to the administration of the city of Clarksburg, and it was second to none. They support their police officers, always have and always will. Following my career here at Clarksburg, I did go to Bridgeport, served 12 years there, with a total of 44 years in law enforcement, 26 of those years as the chief of police. You know, it's a huge responsibility serving in law enforcement. Some accept it respectfully and some don't, but you have to be out there and know how to solve crimes. That's important. I mean, that's what we're there for. You have to know how to treat people. You have to know how to collect your evidence and talk to people to get the information that you need. And in doing that, you also have to be able to interpret the law to correspond with the case that you're investigating. And my career has taught me that far above most. During my career in law enforcement, I served as the member of the Harrison County Drug and Violent Crimes Task Force. A few years ago, it was revamped and refurbished, and it became the Greater Harrison County Drug and Violent Crimes Task Force, at which time I served as the chairperson for the council. I participated during the time that I was here in Clarksburg in the development of the Harrison County Child Abuse Task Force, the Harrison County Child Advocacy Center, and the Harrison County CASA program, all of those to support our young children who might slip otherwise through the cracks in our court system. Had great opportunity to work with Mr. Worth. He was a good supporter in that. Mr. Jackson, I worked with him when I served on the federal drug court for the Northern District of West Virginia. So most of you I do know and just have a great relationship with. I have a lot of respect for what you do and how you accomplish the things that you do. I've testified, obviously, in every court there is, municipal, magistrate, circuit, federal court, grand jury, and that also has taught me, I always said you can get a lot of training in your books and you can go to different schools and learn a lot, but the training that you get while you're out there doing the job is second to none, and that's where I got a lot of training. And that's helps me or has given me the knowledge to interpret the law and address it with the crime that's being looked at. My lengthy service to the residents of Harrison County, and particularly Clarksburg, has given me a true understanding of the importance of this position that I'm running for, Magistrate Division 2 of Harrison County. You affect a lot of people's lives. The decisions that we make affect a lot of lives. And it could be in a positive way, it could be in a negative way. And to do that, you have to put yourself at a greater, higher understanding than what most people would when they hear the cases. I believe that my experience, my training, my overall qualities make me number one for this job. I promise to continue to be tough on crime because my career has proven that I've been tough on crime, but also fair and justice. I'm going to bring impartiality and equality to our courtroom. I'll be there to support all and make the right decisions. And I appreciate your support and look forward to May 14th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Anyone else for the magistrate race? Moving on. County Commission race. Mr. Treecost.
Hello, everyone. I'm Patsy Treecost. I describe myself the same way every time I go to the podium. I am a child of God. I am Sally Treecost's son. My mom's been going for 4 years, and I'm as much her son today as I was the day she left. Trey Treecost's dad. I am your Harrison County Commissioner. I am your Harrison County Commissioner because you decided I would be. I didn't decide, you did. And I'm asking for your support again. I've actually sat in every one of those seats except Annette's because you decided I could. I sat in Charleston because you decided I could. When I became a county commissioner, one of the first meetings I went to was in Salem. I went to Salem City Council, and I think they set me up because I was invited. And when they had a map, they showed Harrison County, and one of the council members put their hand on top of Salem. And they said, that's how we feel that the county commission treats us. And I remember thinking on the city council, that sometimes we thought, well, they're right across the street, but we never have any communication. I've only made one promise as an elected official over these years, whether it was a municipality or whether it was Charleston or whether it's across the street at the courthouse, and that's that I'll call you back. Everyone in this room that's ever called me that didn't reach me, I called back. There are people in this room today that I called that I played phone tag with. I do it with everyone. I may not give you the answer you want, but I'll give you the respect to let you know exactly what I'm thinking and why I can't do what I can do. Because remember, as one individual, as your county commissioner, I do nothing. It's only us as a body. Only 4 members on this bench can make a decision, not one person. Only 2 members of the county commission can make a decision. In Charleston, it's 51 House of Delegates. So everything I've done is because other people have been a partnership with me. I haven't done it at all by myself. Every idea I ever had came from the citizens or from a fellow councilman, a fellow delegate, a senator, or a fellow commissioner. Jim Hunt pounded me when it came to demolition. Last year in Harrison County, we tore down 11 structures. We became proactive instead of reactive. This year, we're going to tear down 44 structures because we became proactive instead of reactive. We are cleaning up the county. I cannot say that that was my idea. I learned it from somebody else that I sat beside on this bench one time. You go out in the community, and communities talk about water. 580 households in Lumberport do not have clean drinking water. They cannot drink water out of their spigot. There are 50 counties that wish they were Harrison County in the state of West Virginia, and we have 580 households that can't drink out of their spigot. That's a moral issue to me. We're supposed to provide everything we can and do everything we can to create a safe environment, whether it's drinking water or whatever else it may be. We've invested in infrastructure. I hate to steal the quote, but the bottom line is we have to repair the old, we have to replace the old, and we have to build new, because if we build new, they will come. And we have done that. We prioritize. And what we do is we prioritize based on the citizens' wants and other people's ideas. I don't have an original idea of my own ever, but I do know what people want because I call you back, and I'll always call you back. Thank you for having me. It's good to be home, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Watson.
Thank you. I am Ron Watson, and I'm the most qualified county commission candidate in terms of proven leadership, education. I have a master's degree in public administration and over 40 years of government experience. And I am a veteran of the United States Air Force. My campaign theme is, yes, we can. Yes, we can improve the public's confidence and trust in their county commission. And how are we going to do this? Through good government. A government that is open, responsive, accountable, and transparent. I am pro-police, pro-labor, and pro-economic development. I support less taxes and less government. Yes, I can. Yes, I can bring balance and respect back to the county commission. I ask for your support and your vote and would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. Do we have any other candidates for the county commission race? Moving on. Board of Education, Mr. Hoke.
My name is Doug Hogue. I am a resident of Nutter Fort. I am a graduate of Fairmont State College and West Virginia University. I am a former teacher, coach, athletic director, and administrator from Harrison County Schools, retiring with 35 years of experience. I have served as a Harrison County member of the Board of Education for the past 12 years, and I'm asking to do one more term. I have 2 daughters, one of which is a teacher, and 3 grandchildren, 2 of which are in the K-12 system in Harrison County. My late wife was also a teacher. My number one desire as a school board member is to ensure that students are taken care of, all students, and in all ways possible. Support programs, extended learning programs, mental health programs. All these programs are essential and need to continue. They are vital to supporting the whole child. While we as board members do not micromanage schools, we are in the position of being resource allocators. I want students to have what they need and will continue to vote in that manner. Clarksburg schools are very near and dear to my heart. I am a former athletic director and assistant principal at Robert C. Byrd High School and former principal of Washington Irving Middle. Keeping the current as well as reviving the old Clarksburg pride is important to me. WI Middle is a big, sturdy building, a beautiful building, but it is also 111 years old. Those students deserve green spaces, updated classrooms, and room to grow. Obviously, declining enrollment is a timely matter affecting the entire county, including Clarksburg. Addressing that and preparing for the future must be on the minds of all board members. No one wants to shut down schools, take away community buildings, but there comes a point where we must be fiscally responsible and look at our numbers. With the upcoming merger of Liberty and Byrd, we must work together and work hard to bridge the two school communities together and prepare a new home for our students. I think the two will grow to shine. I see a school becoming a spotlight school within the state, and we must, however, support the teachers and staff as they adjust to this plan and ensure are provided the means necessary to be successful. This will be a new era for Clarksburg, and we want to write the story right. I feel I am the best candidate for this election due to my experience on the board and my vast background in all levels of education in Harrison County. I have a firm understanding of the vision for Harrison County's future and the knowledge of the foundation that has gotten us here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hope. Mr. Knight?
My name is Toby Knight. I grew up in Harrison County, and after graduating from Liberty High School, I attended WU and got my degree in industrial engineering. During my career working as a consultant, I moved away from the area and resided in multiple states. However, I never lost the longing to return back home. I currently work for the federal government. I'm married with one son, which is a freshman at Liberty High School. I have a strong desire to help our youth achieve goals for which they aspire. I've been asked several times, why did I decide to run for the Board of Education? In short, it's apathy, which is the lack of motivation to do things or just not caring about what's going on around us. The general sense of apathy within our society towards education is negatively impacting the youth of our schools and the school system itself. I'm not too thrilled with the current state of our school system or the direction for which it's heading. I truly believe these are some of the most challenging times we have experienced as a society, and our youth are being directly impacted the most. We as adults, we have a lifetime of experience to compare things to. However, our youth, they only have a limited view of experiences to reference. They are observing and learning from our actions and how to assimilate into adolescence and into adulthood. Are we giving them our best? Our state schools systems constantly remain at the bottom compared to other states. However, we repeatedly continue to do the same things. We can't do what's always been done and expect different results. We must make some changes. Our society has become too complacent with the attitude of, why should I get involved? Because nothing can be done. We must stand up, we must get involved and make the necessary changes. I want the youth of our communities to know that they have our support and we're going to do what is best for them. We must change the culture of no, won't, can't, that mentality, and change it to how can we make things better? How can we make things happen? The relationship of community and school is deeply dependent upon each other. For without a community, a school will fail. And without a school, a community will not thrive. There are very few things that can turn strangers into friends and buildings into neighborhoods, unlike like a school can. A thriving school will change the culture of an area from what was once viewed as houses and only buildings that you live in, and will change those houses into homes because that is where you belong. But for that to happen, again, there must be change. Teachers need to be able to teach. We as a society have taken our responsibilities as parents and thrusted those expectations upon the teachers. There's a saying that goes, it takes a village to raise a child. And that is truer today than ever. It takes a village, not just a teacher to raise a child. We must work in partnership with our schools, teachers, to ensure they have the ability to help the students. However, at the same time, the school system must encourage, allow, and accept the partnership from the parents and from the community, and not push them away. Our culture must improve. Accountability at all levels is fundamentally essential. Whether it is the student, the parent, the service staff, professional staff, or administration, accountability is crucial. We must ensure the Harrison County school system is actively putting the right people in the right positions and making adjustments as needed. There must be a voice on the board for the youth, for the community, for the parents, and for the staff. There has to be transparency as to what is going on in the system. There must be discussions, examinations on topics, even if that is difficult. We can't just keep doing the same thing over and over and expect to change to get better. We must start with accountability and responsibility at all levels. There must be transparency and open discussions. The school must be welcoming in the partnership with their parents and communities. Teachers must be able to teach, and students have to be able to learn. We can no longer accept the attitude of apathy, but we must move towards a direction of action. Because at the end of the day, if things don't change, teachers cannot teach if they don't have students to teach. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. Mr. Boyles?
Hello everyone. My name is Bill Boyles, and I'm running for Harrison County Board of Education. I grew up in Lumberport, graduated from Lincoln High School, and then went on to Limel State College where I graduated. Been married for 37 years. My wife has been a teacher in the Harrison County education system for the past 38 years. So for the past 38 years, I have lived every part of the education system. She has educated me well. My mother was a teacher's aide for many years, and my grandmother was a cook at the old Lumberport High School. So seeing my mother sit there for hours and hours, cut out things for her kids, and then seeing my wife grade papers, all night long. The school day doesn't end for a teacher at 3 o'clock. They take it till midnight sometimes. My wife teaching English, she would grade essay papers 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So seeing that, I realized the importance of having our teachers that are certified, making sure our teachers are rewarded. So that's a big thing for me as far as seeing how she has taught the system and how she has worked hard. I've talked to several individuals throughout the past couple months, and people have said, yes, there's issues. Well, my philosophy is this. People want to say there's a problem, this or that. I want to take that problem and turn it into an opportunity. let's look at that and say, what can we do to make things better? I believe that unifying the board, we can all succeed. So rather than just have certain little groups make decisions, I think we all need to come together and make a unified decision that helps all of our students, it helps our teachers, it helps our administrators, and the number one thing, our parents. You know, my goal is to attend every school, public school in Harrison County. I want to go in, I want to talk to teachers, if elected. I want to talk to teachers, I want to talk to students. I want to talk to parents. I know the teachers fill out these surveys every year, and they turn them in and people look at them and say, well, everybody's happy. Well, my thought is this: a happy employee is a productive employee. So if we find out what the actual problem is and we can work on that problem together, then we have a whole bunch of happy employees and everybody's working together, and I think our students, our kids benefit from all that. So I hope on May 14th you consider me on the Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Heflin?
Good evening. My name's Stanley Heflin. Most people that know me call me Stan. I think I know most people in this room this evening. I'm a local attorney. I'll give you a little bit of history about myself. I'm a lifelong resident of Harrison County. I'm a Christian father. I've coached in Harrison County at the youth level and the middle school level. I've got 4 children. I've raised 2 of them through the high school system. I've got 1 in high school, and I've got 1 that's going to start kindergarten next year somewhere. So I feel pretty connected to the community, and I also feel committed to improving it. You see, being on the board, it presents an opportunity, and I agree with Mr. Boyles that it does. Problems present an opportunity, but to address those opportunities, you got to take action, and you got to be transparent, and you got to be connected to the community. And being connected with the community and transparent means being upfront, having public debate, public discussion. When you make decisions, you have to make informed decisions. Those decisions have to be based on complete data, not just fragments of information that you think support a particular agenda item. I feel that's where we can improve. You know, Mr. Hogue talked about the consolidation proposal that was voted on. And you're right, it does affect students. It's going to affect the community. I mean, I think it's been proven that smaller schools, they produce better results for students. Yes, you have to be fiscally responsible but to make that decision, you have to look at all the facts. And the public has to be presented with those facts and options. If they're not given that chance, they're going to become disillusioned with the board. And then we have a disconnect that's even greater than what we have today. We talked about apathy. Well, yeah, there's a lot of apathy. You know, COVID kind of produced a lot of apathy, a lot of disconnect because everybody became isolated. Well, it's time we reconnect with the communities. If I'm elected to the board, one thing that I think is important and one thing that I was disappointed to hear during the consolidation hearings was that the city of Clarksburg didn't even have any discussions with the county board office. That can't happen. Our schools sit in these communities. If I'm elected, I'm going to ensure that those discussions take place. I'm going to ensure, yes, the board members need to go into the schools. That's one of the #1 complaints I hear from parents and teachers and students. Well, we never see anybody in our school. Well, we should be there. And not only should we be getting results or getting questionnaires from our teachers, we should be listening to their suggestions. Because I tell you what, they probably have some pretty good ones that's going to improve it. Less than 50%. That's what a lot of our schools or a lot of our grade levels test at as far as meeting their grade level. That's unacceptable. When did that become acceptable? And I can tell you what, larger classrooms aren't going to help that. Because we talk about saving our children from drugs, that's just going to let more kids slip through the cracks. So I'll leave you with this. The only way we make change is if we sit back and we take all the information in. And then we act. We don't use it as a talking point. We don't parade it in a school or in a speech. We use it as an effort to get something passed, to fix a school, to build a school. I guarantee you, if we build a Northview Elementary, guess what? That's going to be attractive to people wanting to build in the city of Clarksburg or come here. We can do these things, but we have to want to, and we have to approach it with openness. That's all I'm going to say this evening. I would really appreciate it if you'd vote for me on May 14th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huffman. Ms. Santelli?
It's doctor.
Doesn't say that here, sorry. Say doctor.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jenny Santilli. Thank you all for inviting me here. I've been an educator for 43 years, the past 39 serving students and my colleagues in Harrison County. I'm currently an adjunct professor at Fairmont State, and last week I was just named Adjunct Professor of the Year. So it's nice to know at my age and nice for you all to know I still got it going on. I hold multiple degrees, and some people have said, well, that's just theory, which true, it could be just theory, but I've also had 43 years testing theories, keeping the good ones, tweaking the weak ones, and getting rid of the bad ones, no matter what the experts say. If it's not working in my classroom, I'm not doing it. I am running for school board because I am a proud parent of public school graduates, and I know the backbone of our society is a strong public education system, and that's why I'm running. We need to look at recruiting and retaining quality employees, not just teachers. I mean the cooks, the custodians, the counselors, the secretaries, the aides, the paraprofessionals, the bus drivers. We need the whole village firing on all pistons. And some of our problems in the county are due to what's going on in the legislation with the legislators in Charleston. But there are concrete steps that we can take in this county to show all our employees that they're valued, they're needed, and they're appreciated, and that we support them. And if you look on my Facebook page, you can see more of those details. The other thing, and you've heard some other people, not just school board members, talk about wraparound services. Schools were not designed and cannot operate to fix all of society's ills. We're just not equipped or designed to do that. So we need wraparound service that can support children and their families, whether they need emotional support, drug interdiction, maybe they need a cavity filled, maybe they need a new pair of glasses. Whatever we can do so that child enters the classroom ready to learn. We also need to look at having consistent, open, and honest communication. It's no secret that I was in favor of consolidation of the schools, but the way they did it was completely wrong. They did not have consistent, open, or honest communication. And we need to have this kind of communication with our students, with all of our employees, with our families, and with the stakeholders within the county. Unless and until we do that, we cannot move forward. I am the best candidate for this job, and I have nothing negative to say about the other candidates. We're all here because we love kids. But I am the best candidate, not only because of my educational background and my personal experience, but because I have been tasked by principals over the years to lead school improvement efforts. And it's because of my organizational skills, my problem-solving skills, and my ability to motivate people to work together. And another skill is I don't do dysfunction and drama. We have work to do. We don't have time for all the biggery. We have stuff to do. We need to get it done. So I would really appreciate your support, and you should also know that I am a business owner, and at times in my life I've been a single parent. Nobody understands sticking to a budget and making painful financial decisions more than I do. So I would appreciate your vote. I'm number 5 on the ballot. Thank you.
Any more Board of Education candidates? Assessor, Mr. Romano.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rocky Romano. I'm the Harrison County Assessor, and I guess, no offense to the other candidates, but I think City Council saved the best for last. So I have been your assessor for 7+ years. I am married 43 years. My beautiful wife Tammy here, and I have 3 wonderful, very successful children. I have 3 grandsons and a 4th one on the way, as well as 2 bonus daughters in my daughter-in-laws. That's a little bit on my personal end. When I decided to seek the office for assessor, the former assessor, who was my mother, who retired after 29 years, but she will tell you, I worked in the assessor's office before her. I worked for Otis Kincaid, who was our assessor. In the early 80s, I was a part of the reappraisal in the state of West Virginia that had not occurred in 50 years. Later on, I went to work for Mr. Kincaid in the assessor's office. The carbon called me back and I chose to go back. But later on, I went in. So the main thing I want to tell you about me is I have a resume that looks like War and Peace. It is that thick. But I am now working the best job that I've ever had. I love what I do. Between my family and my wife's family, it has been bred into me to do public service. You know, when I became assessor, through COVID, my office, we never missed a deadline. I was able to get all of my people to work from home with devices. I never missed a day in the courthouse unless that courthouse was completely shut down. I have always been there, reachable. When you see my campaign cards, you see an email and my cell phone number. I am always reachable. I have worked very hard. In 2022, I received the Special Service Award, which is top assessor voted on by my peers, the other assessors. 23, I served as president of the Assessors Association through a very rough time for the assessors because we were going through a new integrated assessment system, which Harrison County is one of 5 test counties. And I take a lot of pride in that. I take a lot of pride in the cultivated staff that I have, and they work very hard. You know, I have, most of you here have used our online site that's in the assessor's office now. And that is something that we are working to perfect, but this is something that we created. I helped to create. Another thing that we started, Sheriff Matheny's help, we started a satellite program where we do assessments and tax collection out in the public, so they don't have to come to the courthouse. We make this easy for people to do. We have 18 locations, anywhere from Lumberport to West Milford to the mall to United Hospital Center. We have made this available. We do evening ones so that people who can't get to the courthouse during the day, they can. And this program was nationally recognized in 2020 by NACO, which is National Association of County Officials. I take great pride in that, along with everything else that I do. I am the most well-rounded candidate for assessor in Harrison County, as well as the state of West Virginia. My resume, because of my construction experience, my past experience with the state tax department, my experience with, I'm an apprentice appraiser. I have worked at oil and gas. So everything that the assessor does, I have done. So when I have to assess, I know what they're going through. I know how to work for the people. You, council people, you educate, Board of Education people, all other councils. I have gone out there and I have gone to legislature. I have been legislative chair for the Assessors Association for most of my time. And I have brought all that I learned back to all of you. And difference in me and everyone else, I need to ask for your vote on May 14th and also on November 5th. Please vote for me, Rocky Romano, for your assessor. Thank you.
House of Delegates, Ms. Petito.
First of all, I want to thank the council for hosting this event and for inviting me to be here tonight. I'm Nikki Petito, and I am your House of Delegates for, we have 4 House of Delegates for Harrison County. I am your House of Delegate representing the biggest part of Clarksburg and Nutter Fort. I am not a politician, but I became interested in the events and activities that were going on through foster care, through child neglect, for the child abuse, trafficking, all the things that were happening to children that's totally outside their control. They couldn't help themselves. So I basically decided to run for the House of Delegates in order to do what I could, if I could do anything. And at the time, I didn't realize how much I could do. But because of the fact that that was my interest in my campaigning, I was made vice chair of Seniors, Children, and Family Affairs. And that, for a first-year delegate to become a vice chair is very unusual. So they really understood that I had a very strong interest. In that committee, we've done several things, but probably the 2 most important would be we have in the process a development of a portal which will be for foster children. And in that portal, all the information, health, everything will be put into that system, so that when people are working on that system, instead of having to rely on a phone call that might come next week and that child's in limbo, they can go directly into the system, naturally with authority, and be able to identify. That should be, it's in process of being developed right now and should be effective in 2026. The other thing that that committee has been very active in is childcare, and really, I would have to say daycare. Daycare is in a crisis, in a very serious crisis. They are not able to stay in existence for much longer. In West Virginia, our child care daycare was based upon the premise of they're paid based on attendance rather than enrollment, which means that the daycare center has to have full staff, food, everything there for that child. And if the child doesn't show up or doesn't come in because they're sick or on vacation, whatever, they don't get paid. So during COVID, the federal government stepped in and started paying daycare centers based on enrollment rather than attendance. So they have been able to survive up to this point. But that will cease August of this year. So in that committee, we developed actually, we were under the speaker's direction, we developed a task force that worked on that, and we came up with 7 bills that would basically help that division. One of them being enrollment versus attendance. The problem was all of those bills, because they basically paid through DHHR and those things, had a significant financial footnote. And you've probably read about the $465 million clawback that the government was, well, because of that, we were not allowed to, I wouldn't say wouldn't be allowed because we can do what we want to do, but we were told that anything that had a significant financial footnote that went through the Senate would be stymied, it wouldn't go anywhere. So we held on to those bills, and we still have those 7 bills. One of them is that, and then the employer would pay 1/3, the individual pay 1/3, and the state would pay 1/3 to try to get people back to work, because our workforce needs these people to be able to get back to work. We're bringing new businesses in, and these child care centers have waiting lists, and they aren't even able, and they're closing classrooms right now. We knew at the time that we would probably be called back for a special session in May, so hopefully we would be able to finish. The other committees I'm on is prison and regional jails, technology infrastructure, economic development, and tourism, and I have been asked to be placed on firefighters and emergency services because I have an interest. And we were able to get some monies that had been frozen for 7 years released. I want to go back to finish what started, and to also hopefully maybe come up with some other things that can help our state. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Marple?
Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you all here. Most of you are from Clarksburg. I have a few people from my district, Steve here, the chief, and Dixon. I represent the southern part of Harrison County. It wraps all the way up Route 57 to the Barber County line. It goes all the way down, includes Sardis and the area around Salem. So the new districts were based basically on population. Each district had to have approximately 8,000 people. Harrison County has 4. I have part of Lewis County, and Clay Riley has part of Wetzel County. Now, Mickey just spoke. I want to tell you, Mickey is a hard worker down at the legislature. She works harder than I do because she's vice chairman of a committee, and that is hard work. And the first thing you want to find out when you go down there, who is in charge. The next thing you want to find out, who wants to be in charge, because they will walk on you, they will step on you, they will jump on you to try to get ahead. So you got to be aware. Now, one of the things that we did down there, we cut taxes, and there's a trigger built in that's going to cut more of your income taxes. The personal property tax, you're going to get credit for that. What I want to do is cut the taxes further for the people in West Virginia so we can be like Florida, we can be like Tennessee, we can be like Texas, we can bring more business in, we can bring more industry in, and we can bring more retirees in here who will spend their money to our restaurants and our stores and build houses here or buy houses and contribute to the economy. And we have a good governor and a good legislature and a good economic development program in Charleston. They're bringing in more industry, they're bringing in more business, and more jobs to West Virginia. If you read the paper, you'll see this. A lot of people who don't read the paper, they don't know what's happening in West Virginia, but jobs are on the way here. I know how jobs are. I graduated from RW High School, for all you RW grads, what few they are. In 1961, went to West End College for 2 years. Wife, we started having babies, so I had to drop out of college, get a job at the old Pittsburgh Plate. For our new
City manager.
Clarksburg, your title is city manager. Clarksburg used to be a booming place. Route 50 was the only east-west highway through here. Route 20 was a north-south highway. There were no interstates. Clarksburg was busy. You come here at Christmas time, you couldn't walk up and down the sidewalk. It was too crowded at Christmas time. All the businesses that are out the malls, out on Emily Drive and everywhere, those businesses, some of them have left, but they were here in Clarksburg. There were restaurants here. Clarksburg was a booming city. The old building down here, the Palace Furniture Company, they delivered furniture all over central West Virginia, all the way to Webster Springs, all the way to Parkersburg. Clarksburg was a booming city. And I want to see this state get back to that. I left the Pittsburgh Plate when they were going to shut down part of the factory to repairs. So I got a job on the Washington, D.C. Police Department and went down there, and I spent 26 years total. During that time, I had a break. I come back here. I got the job I always wanted as a conservation officer. And in June of 1968, the state could not pay us. They were broke. We had to wait till July when the new budget year kicked in to get a check for June and July. So I know what it's like to be in West Virginia when West Virginia was a poor state. Now we have budget surpluses. And the thing is, we've got to spend them the right way. And I want to see prosperity for everybody in West Virginia. I want to bring it to Harrison County and want to see Clarksburg built back. And I know with the Robinson Grant and all the other things that's going on here, Clarksburg is on the move. You've come in at the right time. Just keep it moving. Now, I'm running for the House of Delegates from the 69th District, which is part of all southern Harrison County and part of Lewis County. I appreciate your vote, and I will try to cut your taxes more. Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. I'd like to thank the candidates. Good luck to all of them. And listen, folks, you got to get out and vote. It is your right and it is your duty. You know, don't complain if you don't go out and vote. Adjournment?
Well, just one thing I want to say. I want to continue to build relationships with council, and the delegates or Board of Education members. We've got to have a better relationship. We got to be meeting quarterly. We'd like our city manager to be constantly, Delegate, Petito, we had great conversations when we were in Charleston. We want to keep those happening. We just got to keep communication. As I said plenty of times tonight, communication is important. We have to keep that going, and we have to keep Clarksburg. When Clarksburg thrives, the whole entire county thrives. It's a trickle down, and I think it really starts in Clarksburg. So we're the county seat. We have the most people here, so we hope you guys can serve our people and to the best of your abilities and work with us, and hopefully we can work together and move forward together.
Anybody else on council? Mr. Hyman? We have a motion. We have a second?
Second.
We're adjourned.